Hello, my name is Yeji, otherwise known as ANdmadeco, here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today I have my summer knitting plans I wanted to share, and I also have the regular video podcast style where I want to share what I'm wearing, my finished objects, as well as my works in progress. One thing I want to mention right off the bat is that I will be moving away from doing weekly knitting podcasts to doing it every 2 to 3 weeks. I definitely want to continue doing my monthly makes video, so the first video of a new month, I want to wrap up and round up all the things that I made during that month. But because I am doing project vlogs where I take you through the process of me making items, I think that I could move away from doing weekly knitting podcasts just because I want the information not to be too repetitive. And my hope is that between the monthly makes videos, the videos that come out during the month, I will have something additional to add. Like today, I want to share all of the knitting plans I have for the summer versus next time, I'm not sure what the plan will be, but hopefully it'll be something extra there as well. I'll get started with my summer knitting plans first. But if you are only here for the knitting podcast portion, then I would skip to this timestamp. For my summer knitting plans, I have 5 items that I definitely want to make and that I will try my hardest to get to these. So these will be the top priority. And then I have a few additional extras that I may not have the yarn for or the pattern for, or I hope to get to it, but they are more my dream knitting plans. And I'm really happy to share that from my spring knitting plans, I think I got to everything except for the stripe overload cardi, which was in my dream knitting plan, which I didn't get to. But of course I can get to that when the weather turns warmer or when I have a little bit of room in my queue. The 5 patterns on this list are in no particular order, and I'm not sure if I'll cast on one before the other, but I'm itching to cast all of these on. For the most part, I have the yarn and the pattern for it, so I'm excited to be able to share all of that information, as well as I have some information on probably what size I will need to knit, as well as with what needle size. The first on this list is Anju Tank by Skeinny Dippin Alex. And Alex was so kind to send me the pattern for the Anju tank before the test knit for the Wayfinder tee was over. So I already have the pattern for this and I'm so excited. So this pattern came out as a sweater design first, and I have the sweater as well, and I definitely want to make a sweater one day. But I think the tank also is so cute and I'm so excited to make it. For this, I will be using the Kelburn Woolens Mojave in bright yellow as well as dandelion, and this is the yarn that I picked up at the Tea Cozy Yarn Shop during the Puget Sound LYS tour. For the Anju tank, there is a top-down version as well as a bottom-up version, all in the same patterns, and I think she says that the bottom-up version is slightly easier than the top-down version. I'm not sure exactly what version I will choose right now, but I'll probably end up making the size 2 as a slight negative ease is recommended. One of the things I appreciate about Alex's patterns are that they are quite size inclusive and they do go up above a 60-inch bust to fit measurement. And the next item I have in this list is Soho Top by Kadri, and I'll be using Quince & Co. Wimbrel in the color Waterline. And I'm so excited to make this because I think it'll work up super quickly as this is a thicker weight garment. The recommended needle size for the Soho Top is a US 6 4mm needle. The recommended needle size for the yarn is a US 7 4.5mm needle. So with the top, I think I need to knit a size 3. However, if I do decide that my gauge or the density of the fabric isn't right, then I might size up a needle size but size down the pattern size, so knit a size 2 with a 4.5mm needle. And I've mentioned this before, but with my current lifestyle, it's hard to keep garments clean. And so I do appreciate that this is 100% cotton. The Mojave was also 60% cotton, 40% linen. So I'm sure that I'll be able to put this in the washer as well as the dryer. And I think that's a theme going through these summer garments, is that they are easily cleanable. I say that, and my next garment is made with cotton merino, so not as easily cleanable, but this, I will be making the mixed rib cami by Florence Miller with this yarn, and this is Knitting for Olive in Dusty Artichoke. It's the Knitting for Olive cotton merino in Dusty Artichoke, and I have 4 balls, and I bought the pattern when it first was released, and I didn't have a chance to knit it last summer, so it's something that I definitely want to get to this summer. However, my friend Stella from @MilkEnthusiast has just finished hers, and I think it took her a year to make it because she said that it seemed to go on forever and ever, and so I'm hoping that I won't have the same issue. This is knit on a pretty small size needle, so on a US 2.5, which is a 3mm needle, which probably adds to the fact that it just seems to go on and on. And for this garment, I think I'll be knitting a size B because I think it looks really great where the full bust area has slight negative ease and the rest doesn't, and so, or the rest is at 0 to a little bit of positive ease depending on. and I am really excited to use this. I know that this was a super popular color last year, the Dusty Artichoke, so maybe I'm a little late on the trend for it, but I'm still excited to use this yarn with the intended garment. And for my fourth item, I'll be knitting Sway, which is a pair of socks by Rachel Kieselberg, and it was the featured pattern as well as the featured yarn at Stricka during the Puget Sound LYS tour as well. And I'll be knitting this with my friend Betsy. Thank you, Betsy, for always watching and commenting. And I'm so excited because she picked up the same color as well. We didn't know until she let me know. And so I'm excited to have a mini make along with her as well. And this is the 29 Bridges Studio in Go To Sock in the color BOC. And it's a really pretty blue, I think perfect for summer. The fifth item on this list, I saw it on Ravelry, I immediately favorited it, and I really want to make it. And it is Make Myself Flowers Vest, and it's an intarsia vest with huge flower motifs on it. I plan on using these colors. For the flowers, I want to use 2 separate colors. This yarn is Madeline Tosh Farm Twist in the color Antler, and I also have the Westwool Tandem in Tandem Royal, as well as this mystery pink skein from Explore Knits and Fibers from their Leave No Trace collection. So I am excited to pair these together, and the pattern calls for an Aran weight. So they call for a worsted weight held with a light fingering, and the yarn I have is DK. So I think what I'm going to do is hold it with mohair to really make the vest a little more fluffy as well as to meet gauge. But from what I recall, the needle size, I don't know if it was a 4.5 or a 5mm needle that was recommended, isn't too bad. So I think that it's not too big. It's not an 8mm needle, a US 11 needle, you know. So I think that I can make it work with DK weight yarn, and I am excited to make this. I just fell in love with this pattern. And the Make Myself Flowers Vest is a intarsia pattern, so I'm also excited to do that because I haven't done large intarsia work. I've only done it in little plushies and such, but I haven't done it in a full garment, so I'm very excited for that. And those are the 5 patterns that I have the strongest intention of getting to this summer. But on top of that, I also have some other lofty goals and other dream knitting that I want to do. So these are tops or tees or summer knits that I want to get to when I have the time, with maybe these yarns, maybe not these yarns. But the first is this, which is Durham Tura in Antigone. And this is a really pretty 100% linen yarn, and it's in the color Graphite. I have 3 of these balls, and I want to make the Margot top by Gregoria Fibers with it. And in my LYS tour video, I also mentioned these yarns, which is the Tumolo Fibers Soul Fingering in the color Strawberry. And I said I wanted to make the Kona tee with it because I have the pattern, I have the yarn. However, thinking about it, I think I might make a pattern from Sari's new book. Sari Nordlund has come out with a summer knits book, and it looks so nice. And so I'm thinking I want to pair this yarn with a pattern in her book. I'm not sure which pattern yet. So that's a plan I have for now, but I picked this up at Knitter Studio. And next, I don't have a pattern for this, but I did pick up the Cascade Yarn Noble Cotton from Needle and Hooks during the yarn tour, and I want to make a round neck camisole with this, a plain one, and so I just need to find a pattern. I had a pattern before, but it wasn't very size inclusive, so I want to find a size inclusive round neck camisole. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know, because I want to find a pattern where the neck isn't too high and it's not a V-neck and it is a nice round camisole. So those are all my summer related dream knitting plans. Other than that, I also have the Dagmar jacket that I'm working on with Maddie from By a Thread Knits, and I want to get it done before the season turns cool. And I also want to make the Anacortes Pullover by Michele Frazzetta when it comes out. It's currently in testing, but that's a pattern that I definitely want to make for my husband for this year. So the 5 items I have on my summer knitting plans that I definitely want to get to, I hope will take me into July. And then in August, I can see if I want to continue the summer knitting or if I want to focus on cooler season knits. And usually I'm able to make a garment, a tee or a tank top in 7 to 10 days if I'm focused on that knitting. And so I think I can get through all of these, we'll see. But of course, I'll continue to post project vlogs of the ones I end up making, and I'm so excited to be able to share with you of what I make. And with that, let's jump now into the knitting podcast portion of this video. So what I'm currently wearing is Wayfinder tee by Skeinny Dippin, who is Alex, and this tee is currently in testing. I knit the size 3 on the recommended needle size, which is a US 4, a 3.5mm needle. I did post a video going through the process of knitting this garment, but I do look very rough. It is quite chaotic, as I said before that my life is quite rough and chaotic at the moment. And so if that's not your style, I'll go through some of the details of this garment. So with this, you start with a back yoke, you do English shoulder shaping. So you make the shoulders, but then from there you pick up here. After you pick up for the shoulders, you do a lot of increases. You have some short rows, and she uses Chinese short rows, which she will have a video on. And I haven't done mine very well, which is why you can kind of see it. But I don't mind when it's on me. I don't feel it. And I think when you look at my t-shirt from a far enough distance, then you can't tell. But then you do some increases. You actually do quite a few increases with this pattern. And then you do some increases for the body and the sleeves. And then you join in the stripes and knit the stripes down. One of the things I really like about this garment is this rolled neckline. I think it's really nice for the summer. It kind of gives a very casual look. And before I said that, I didn't know how I like this watermelon look going on. But after I made the tee and I have been wearing it, I really enjoy it. I think it puts a lot of the brightness out there, and in the summer and during the warmer seasons, I definitely gravitate towards brighter colors rather than the softer, maybe more muted, maybe more blue colors that I use for the winter. My tee did block out quite a bit with wash, and I think I just need to rewash it and maybe even put it into the dryer to have it be closer fitting to my body, but I enjoy it in this state as well. I think it's really cute, and I really like how easy it is to actually wear. I think just wearing it with jeans or shorts makes it a really easy piece to style during the summer. And I really enjoy the feeling of the Sandisgarn Tinline on my body. So the yarn I use for this is Sandisgarn Tinline in Peach Blossom, which is 4002, Spicy Orange, which is 3819, and Sunny Lime, which is 9825. And for my size, which is a size 3, you only need 2 of these balls of your main color, and then 1 each of the contrast colors. And even with that, this is how much I have of the contrast color left. I had a little bit of the green one, and so I used up that ball, and then I used this. So this isn't a great representation of how much you actually use, but I have maybe now 1.5 skeins or balls of the Sandisgarn Tinline in Spicy Orange. So I probably can make a whole new garment with just these as well, but I most likely won't, at least not for a while. And the more I use the Tinline, the more I enjoy it. I think that at first it took me a while to get used to the yarn because it does split as the ply isn't super tight. But the more I use it, the more you get used to knitting with it and not splitting the yarn. And then the drape on the fabric is so nice, and when you wash it, it's really nice. And I think this is one of those fabrics where it's pretty unlikely to pill. Although it is called Tinline, it is actually mostly cotton. So it's 53% cotton, 33% viscose, 14% linen. So this is a yarn that I would highly recommend. And Emily from Tea Cozy Yarn Shop, which is where I got this yarn, was telling me that the Sandisgarn labels have completely changed, or they haven't completely changed, but they got rid of this purling and the V's, and now it's super clean, super minimal, and so the label may have changed, but the yarn is still great. I will definitely let you know when this t-shirt pattern comes out. I think it's a great staple piece to have this summer, and I think that in the future I'll probably be making more of this because I really enjoyed the construction, and I also really like the fit. And I just really enjoyed the overall process of having the stripes. It made it go so much faster because I knew exactly how many stripes I had to put in. And it's less of a slog when the colors change in front of you. And so this tee isn't cropped. I think it's pretty full length. But as I mentioned, a lot of my garments that are just plain stockinette are cropped because I do get bored of it. My next finished object is this, and it is Noodles by Sarah Shira. And this is of course from her book Gnomes of Grimblewood. And it is so cute. This is actually yarn that I got at the Puget Sound LYS tour as well. I couldn't help myself. I just needed to use it right away. And this is Hazel Knits Artisan Sock Base, and it is in Land of Sweets, Hippity, as well as Caterpillar. And these yarns all came in different amounts. So I think I used actually the most of this, and I still have the most of this left. I think I used 16 grams of this, or 17, but I still have the most of it left because I bought the largest quantity of it. Because at Hazelknits, you can buy 50 yard minis, 100 yard minis, or 133 yard minis, or you could buy the full skein. But The minis are of course less expensive, less taxing, and also it makes it super fun to make gnomes and play with color. So going into this, I didn't know how I would make the gnome. It's not something that I really planned out ahead of time, but I did decide to carry these stripes up vertically, and then after I was done the gnome, I added little daisies. These are called lazy daisy stitches, and it's an embroidery term, and I think it just brings a little something extra to the gnome, and I'm really excited for this gnome too. I think he's pretty cute, and it was another gnome that I made this month, or the first gnome that I made this month, the only gnome that I'll make this month, but another gnome that I've made this year, and it could also join the pile of gnomes that I have just growing as time goes on, and then we can decide what to do with them in December. Also, because the Hazelnut's artisan sock base is so plush, this actually 120 grams is what it says on Ravelry for 400 yards, but I've had also like 150 gram ball, so, or a skein that was quite large, and so I'm not sure exactly if that's correct, but it is a quite plush fingering weight yarn. I held it double and I used the US 4, a 3.5 millimeter needle, instead of my usual US 3, a 3.25 millimeter needle. So it is sitting a little larger than my other gnomes. So those are my 2 finished objects for the week. My only work in progress I have this week is really precious, and it's a small cardigan, and this will be for my toddler, and I am making this because I am test knitting for Hannah from Hannah G Knits or Hannah Graham, and this is called Ollie's Classic Cardigan. I just started it yesterday. I've gotten a little bit into it, and I split for the sleeves, so I have to do 9 inches from here, which is why I decided to make the gnome today, but I think it will also go by pretty quickly because it's a kid's garment. I think it's almost like knitting a sock basically, and this is knit on a US 6, a 4 millimeter needle, so it does go by quite quickly. And I'm knitting this with the recommended yarn, which is Pearl Soho Goodwool in color Pale Patina. And a large reason I signed up for this test knit is because I wanted to use the recommended yarn, which I already had because I wanted to try it out before. I made my sister her dream vest in this yarn, and then I had quite a bit left over. I had 180 something grams. I think it'll be enough to make my daughter a whole cardigan with it, because this is how much I have of still the first ball. And then I have an extra 100 grams after that. And Hannah, if you have watched her videos, loves Pearl Soho. I know Stephanie also really likes Pearl Soho as well. And the more I use Pearl Soho, the more I like it as well. The yarn is very squishy. It's a really nice wool yarn. And after coming off of working with something like this, the Tinline, which is cotton linen, or even a superwash yarn, I think just working with 100% wool yarn has a different rustic vibe, and it's not itchy at all. My daughter's not going to find this itchy. The only thing is it's not pink. I'm not 100% sure she'll want to wear it, but I'm hoping that she will, at least for photos, and then we can leave it for my nephew or my other daughter to wear it if she doesn't, if she chooses not to wear it. But I am excited for this, and I thought it was perfect because I had the yarn, and the size that Hannah needed was also a size 7, which is a 4-year-old size that she didn't have enough people sign up for, and I caught on to it late, so it was kind of everything came together, and I have the yarn in the size that I would need to make anyway, and so I think it'll be perfect. And that's my only work in progress. I know I've been posting a lot of videos this week, and that's not normal. I'll probably be posting 1, maximum 2, and I want to post more project vlogs because I think it works better for my lifestyle, where I can show you snippets of my day, but I don't need to sit down for an hour, 2 hours to film and then edit in one go. Usually when I'm editing for the project vlogs, I'm editing in pieces, so it doesn't seem to take up as big of a chunk of time. But I also understand that not everybody wants to watch chaos, and in most of those videos, I'm very unkempt. My hair is everywhere. I have no makeup on and everything, so I definitely understand if you prefer sit-down videos. I will be coming at you with them every month for the monthly makes, and then one somewhere in between those. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know of your summer knitting plans, if you have the same one, if you have different ones, and please also let me know if you have any suggestions for a size inclusive round neck camisole. Thank you again, and if you can, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you next week with my May makes video. Bye.